So I've had many, many, many dogs of different breeds, and they've all been great about, getting their nails trimmed because I've done all the background work to build up to it. However, Honda has had a bad experience with his toenails. A couple of years ago, he slipped on our stairs and fell down them and managed to break a toe and also have his nail pulled out of the nail bed.
Oh, geez, poor
and
guy.
it was dangling by a little thread, and there was blood everywhere. And I knew I couldn't leave the nail dangling, so I reached in and I pulled it off. Honda squealed. There was more blood. The toe ended up being broken. So now Honda...
Broken from the fall, not
Yes,
broken
from the fall. Yeah, from
okay,
the fall.
Just to clarify that.
And, Honda would have been 12 at that point, so he was already an older dog. And now he is very nervous about getting his toenails, and I can understand why. And he's a softer dog to begin with. So I've had to do a lot of work in building his confidence back up.
I bet.
And just going back to what I would do with an 8-week-old puppy to get him back in the swing of it.
Yeah. So my very first dog, Quincy Rottweiler, big, thick black nails, right? So you really needed to put enough pressure on there to get through the nail. You needed to have really sharp scissors, etc. And initially, of course, I didn't know enough. So she got into the habit of doing this little jerking thing with her paw. So I was constantly stressed. Every time I did her toenails, I would be so worried that I was going to get halfway through the clip and then she was going to jerk it and it was going to cause her pain and discomfort. And, I lived with that for a while because I didn't really know that there was a solution to it. And then, of course, as I continued learning about dogs, this was my first dog and my first experience with all of these things. So as I continued learning, I thought, oh, you know what? I can go back to my conditioning work. I can solve this problem.
Right.
But even as I solved the problem, and I did for the most part, it still would rear its ugly head every once in a while because this was well rehearsed for her for the first half of her life. And then I thought, then I learned better, right? Oh, you know what? I can maybe work through this and I can do better things. So she had already rehearsed it quite a bit. So it ended up being a habit that she would return to every once in a while. Anytime there was a little bit more stress, for example, or anything like that, she would revert to that jerking away. Right. So that was, I don't want to say traumatizing for me because that seems like a little bit too dramatic of a description, but it is one of those things that stayed with me.
Right, yes.
So when I think about trimming nails and I think about starting with a new puppy, I'm always working on overriding that little bit of anxiety that starts in my gut with my intellect and knowing that now I have this puppy and I'm going to do just as much work as I've done with all of my other puppies after Quincy the Rottweiler to make sure that I didn't have to live through that same situation.